Agut Voch. I'ilui nishmat. Today's shir is sponsored by Fishel Gross for Refuah, for Bryna bas Yenta Devora, and Avraham Yosef and Chana, and the Cholah Meron, and for all the safety of all the chayalim guarding us. Yeah. By the way, it's great that tonight we have with us Hillel Abrahams. Because I remember exactly 3 years ago on Shavuos was the first time Hillel came to the shir. Am I right? And here he is 3 years later, still going strong. Mazel tov to you. I brought up also on Erev Yontif, I brought up to the front over here Yosef Biliak and Robert Links and Yosef Miller, who came last night. He wasn't here because he was in the hospital with his son, but Yosef brought to my attention that just yesterday, the day that I brought him up, it's unbelievable, coincidence, it was day 900 for them. 900 days straight coming to the shir. No, it's a pretty nice coincidence. Bring him up here and it's 900 on the dot. And somebody said online, because he brought it up, he put it on one of the chats, and somebody said a great line, because Yosef Biliak put it on the chat, and he goes, Ilav ha-Yoma, if not for that day of Shavuos, kama Yosef ikke beshuka. So because he learns Daf Yomi, it changes his life, and he's no longer just an old Yosef, but he's Yosef Biliak. Last night, right now is a repeat of last night. We had a shir right here. There were over 70 people in this room. There was a tremendous amount of sushi to start out with, but there's not a single piece left when we were done. All sponsored by David Address. There's a lot of great stuff here, a lot of good cheesecakes, and there's a whole cheesecake. You want to serve to the oilam? That's why. You took it home? Okay, because the oilam sent me a cheesecake. I have a lot of akar satayv. I decided to donate it to last night, but they didn't want to take it out because they assumed that people are fleishiks. But tonight maybe we'll do that. Also, akar satayv to Shalom, or I should say Aaron Shalom from Los Angeles for the wine, and to the MDY Chevra who sent the cheesecake, and Avi Sherman for the platter. And if I'm forgetting somebody, please forgive me. All right, I'm going to read here. Last night we didn't do any emails and there's no sponsorships. It was Yontif. I didn't want to just Kulei Torah, but I'll read two short ones over here. This one is from Sam. Don't know his last name. Sam. Neis Gadol Hayasham. It's Mamish Anes. For the first time in my 45 years on this earth, I finished counting Sfira. Not just me, but also my wife. I attribute it to your shir, which I counted on roughly 36.5% of the time to remind me that I forgot to count the night before. So I wanted to say thank you for the reminders. It worked better than the 6 different apps, various alarms, and in-person calendars, posters we tried in years past. Sam. Unbelievable. Here, let me see that cake. Let me show the oilam, whoever chipped in for that cake. It's a beautiful cake. That's not how it looked when I got it. Okay, here it is. Here it is. It's a one piece. Now I can have, beautiful. Save me a piece of this. With the utmost appreciation from the New York MDY Chevra. Have a beautiful Shavuos. Yishkoyach New York MDY Chevra. And this is a very good email because the entire Yontif, this was bothering me. I kept on telling people, I can't believe it, I can't believe it. Binyamin, I don't know how to spell his name. Medidzda, I don't know. Mehdizadeh. How? Medidzda, I don't know. Good Voch. I noticed that the daf, right before Zman Matan Torah Yisrael Shavuos, was about not having any excuses to learn Torah. Surprised that it wasn't pointed out. Have a wonderful week. When I learned it, I said, beautiful, what Ashgacha Pratis, I'm going to say this in shir. And of course I forgot, like I forget many other things that I want to say. So shkoyach for pointing it out. He does? He lives in the building next to me. Wow. Okay, yeah, he's somebody from Eretz Yisrael, obviously, because he's writing me an email tonight. Yishkoyach. Again, what's his name? Binyamin. Today is Daf Lamed Vav, and we're starting from the Mishnah Lamed Hey Amud Beis. How many guys are on Zoom? No, Be'emet. For real? 46 people on Zoom, and here in the Beis Medrash, there's what? There's almost 20 people. Wow, beautiful. Okay. Baloi Eitzel Paroi. We're continuing with the Kohen Gadol, and he's wearing his big day lavan, and he comes to his cow. Uparoi, his cow, meaning a korban chatos that's for him. For if you were here last night, you could excuse yourself because it's just a repeat of last night. You were here last night? You just again, Nachamal? It's the same daf. You could leave. Say there. You're not going to insult me. Balei Tzapar. See, I know who was here, who wasn't. Balei Tzapar. What? You were sleeping. No, Balei Tzapar. But you have to laugh the same way you laughed on last night's joke. There were no jokes. It's boring. Balei Tzapar. V'haya uparoi haya oimed beno ulam v'la mizbeach. Here, I'll take that part. So we're talking about the part, and we're going to be talking a lot about this area right over here. This is the mizbeach, obviously, and he does his avodah, the smicha, the shchita, right over here, between the mizbeach and the ulam, right over here in this area. Now, says the Mishnah. This is Daraim, this is Tzafan. Upwards is Ma'ariv, downwards is Mizrach. So the Mishnah says that the animal was facing Daraim. The animal is in this direction, like this. Just so. However, its head was facing upwards. How do you do that? You got to turn it a little bit like that. You give it a little drain. So again, it was facing this direction, and you turn the head that way. Thank you. Where's the kohen? The kohen is behind the animal, towards the door, on the mizrach part, facing Ma'ariv, facing the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And here's a picture of the Kohen Gadol putting his two hands, leaning heavily on the head of the bull, and he says vidui. We're very familiar with this vidui. Where were you last night? The Olam was singing, but not this. Ona Hashem. Ovisi. Now we're going to see in the Gemara that this might be in the wrong order. Ovisi means I did an Avera, I did Averis b'mezid. Poshati, I did it with rebellion. I had an intent not only to do an Avera, but to get HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the worst of the worst. And then all the way at the end, Chatasi was b'shoygeg. We're going to do it the opposite. Chatasi comes first. Because you start easy and then you ask for more. You don't ask for the most and then go down. So the chatos, the par is for him and for his family. Ona Hashem. Now if you notice also he says Ona Hashem. He starts with Ona Hashem. We're very familiar with it, but if you think about it, Ona, please. Does it really fit into vidui? Vidui means I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What is please? Please is when you're asking for parnasa. You say please. For refuah, please. Vidui, please Hashem, I'm sorry. Yes, we learn from Sukkim. Ona Hashem, again, Ona Hashem. Kaperno la'avoinois v'la'pshoim v'la'chatoim. Again, he starts from the mezid and then the pshoim, which is mered, v'la'chatoim, and the shoygeg, she'ovisi v'she'poshati v'she'chatasi l'fonecha ani uvesi. Kakosu b'soris Moshe avdecha, ki vayoyim hazeh yichaper. Somebody's in a great mood. Had a lot of cheesecake. And what does Klal Yisrael say? Baruch Shem Kevod Malchusei Le'olam Va'ed. The name, the honor of the king, Le'olam Va'ed. And in the Yerushalmi it says that they do ishtachava when they say it, those who are really close. Okay, now we're holding Daf Lamed Vov Amud Aleph on top. The terrible tragedy, if you didn't hear yet, in Karlin Stolen, the branches, the bleachers fell, and another two korbanos. It's unbelievable. And Karlin, he's the one that's screaming. I actually have a conversation with him recorded. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe tomorrow's a good day, but we don't have the speakers. And I spoke to the Rebbe and he's telling me about safety, and they're very into safety. And when it came to Corona, he was like the most machmer Rebbe and masks and this and that. It happens. Anyway, so let's Baal Peh, this sugya, very simple. It says in the pasuk, "V'shochad oisa yerech hamizbeach tzafoyin lefnei Hashem." Be'emet, אתה זה בסדר, אני מבטיח לך. Yerech hamizbeach tzafoyin lefnei Hashem. Yerech means the foot of the mizbeach. So when you're talking about the mizbeach, typically when you say the foot without any elaborations, the simple pshat is this is the foot of mizbeach tzafoyin. So this area in the Azara is tzafon. We're talking about a korban chatos. A korban chatos is kachi kadashim. All kachi kadashim has to be shechted in the northern part of the Azara. And north starts from the mizbeach onward, l'chayra. Whereas kachi kalim, let's say a shlamim, you could shecht over here also in the southern part, all over here. Okay. So the question really is, what is this yerech tzafayna? What's the yerech hamizbeach tzafayna? The foot of the mizbeach north of the mizbeach. What is that? So we have three pshatim here. One pshat is the simplest one, and that's in the blue. You take the northern wall of the mizbeach and you just draw two lines. You go straight to the end of the azara. Okay, that's pshat number one. We're talking about any tzafan, all kachi HaKadoshim, but including the power of the Kohen Gadol. Now, another pshat is, we're going to extend it, that's great, that part, but give it a little bit more, Myrav-wise, and we're going to come out over here. You see, there's a little piece that comes to the center of the door of the Heichal. So we're not getting there yet. We're not going to discuss that. That's a machlokes. That's not pasha what you're saying. There's different shittas, and that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's daf. Tomorrow morning, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to discuss that. Without getting to where the mizbeach is, this might be going according to one shita. The mizbeach goes up onto this line. We had that. And we had this shita also. So according to this shita, the mizbeach over here, it's going to go, you're going to give a little bit of a spot over here. This blue right over here. It's going to go up to the center line of the door, not further, but if you see, it doesn't correspond on the bottom part. On the mizrach of the mizbech, you don't have that line, just on the ma'ariv part. And then we have this shita that this is cheating. This is the end of the sugya. This is Rebbe. Rebbe says we don't really know that he means this, so let's pretend he doesn't mean this top part, like we just said. But he says on the bottom, it includes also the Ezra's Kohanim and the Ezra's Yisrael to the center. It does include the center, right over here. All this. Okay, it goes all the way down to the end of the Azara. So now let's see inside. Man shamas leido omar beino ulam v'lam izbeach tzafon, because this par chatos, it's a chatos, and it's kachi kachim, and it's required to shecht kachi kachim in the tzafon of the Beis Hamikdash, of the Azar. It must be Rebbe Lazar b'Reb Shimonhi. B'sanyo, Ezu tzafon, shita number one, what's considered tzafon? Mikir shel mizbeach tzafoini, from the northern wall of the mizbeach, this guy right over here. Vat koisel Azara, going all the way, extends all the way to the wall of the Azara. Ukeneged kol mizbeach kuloi tzafon, and the entire width of the mizbeach going out. Okay. Divrei Reb Yosef Reb Yehuda, that would not work for us. Why? Because where's the kohen standing now? The kohen is standing beinu ulam la mizbeach. He's standing over here in this area. This is not tzafon. Any area over here is not tzafon. Tzafon is this box right over here, according to the shita. The kohen is not standing here. the kohen is standing right over here, somewhere over here, and he's doing shchita, he's doing everything. How could he do it? It's a chatos. Okay, this is the shita we're looking for. Reb Elazar, Reb Shimon, Moisef, af beinu ulam v'la mizbeach. There is an area over here between the ulam and the mizbeach that it's included in the tzafon and memela. That's where he's standing. Rebbe Moisef. Now look at the words of Rebbe. Af mikoim drisas raglei kohanim. Now maybe bepashtus you could say that he's not really adding to Rebbe Elazar, Reb Shimon. Rather, he's adding to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, not only this strip right over here, but also the Ezra's Kohanim and the Ezra's Yisrael. Each one is 11 Amma. Here the Yisraelim stand if they're not doing Avodah. If they're going to do Avodah, they could go in here and do it. And here the Kohanim, Ezra's Kohanim, this strip right over here. 11 plus 11. That's what Rebbe says.
Does Rebbe's Eastern edition include Rebbe Elazar's Western edition? Or he doesn't include?
That's what I just said. Right now he doesn't. For this minute not, he does. At the end he does. The Gemara's Havamin is he doesn't include the Western. He's talking on the first sheet. The sheet number 1, I'm going to include also this. That's why the Gemara understood it for a second. Rabbi Ma'aseh, I'm going to Jesus Ragel, I'm going to have him come to Jesus Ragel Israel. Avol min ha'chalifos v'lifnim hakol moedim shepasul. Chalifos is this area right over here. These boxes. It's called Beis HaChalifos. Chalifos is in Arabic means knives. And in those places, that's where they stored the knives of the 24 mishmaros. There's 24 boxes in these things. If you want to see this from the art scroll, I took this from Masorah Heritage Foundation. That's what I have to say when I use their picture. The ulam from here to here is 100 amma. I could show it over here. It might be even easier. This doesn't matter. This from here to here is 15 amma, and from here to here, 10. All the way around. From here, the short part, 15 and 10. It's 10, thank you. See, guy was paying attention last night. It's right over here. 10 and 15. Okay, so in this area, this Beis HaChalifos, they put their knives in. They had like little drawers, knives, for the 24 mishmaros. What's the difference? Like this, you mean? Okay, but the numbers are not good. You know, the numbers you can see. So in other words, here, look. From this line right over here, you cannot go in here and do any kind of avodah, smicha, shchita. That's the cutoff right over here. You can't go in here. It's called min chalifos. Why? Why is it possible? Because you cannot see the mizbeach from here. Maybe from over here, but in general, in this area you can't see, so there's a cutoff. Says the Gemara, L'chayra, at the first look, seems like Rebbe is talking about, okay, extends eastward, but not westward. So Memela doesn't go according to Rebbe as well. Says the Gemara, Afilu Temer Rebbe. It is Rebbe. Rebbe hashto ad Rebbe Yosef Rebbe Yehuda Moisef ad Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimon le Moisef. If Rebbe adds even this area, the eastern area, so certainly here's Shimshi. Certainly he's going to add this area. So now, yeah, Rebbe does add this. Why certainly? Because this has more kedusha. If he's going to add this Ezra's Yisrael, which has the least kedusha, and as Koyanim Nunu, it's far away from the Kodesh Kodashim, certainly he's going to add this area. So when he says af, he says not only shita number 2, but I'm the most from all shitas. He's not talking about shita number 1, af on shita number 1. He's talking about af shita number 2 that includes this area. I'm also going to include this area. So the Gemara says, no, that I understood that that's what Rebbe meant. But this is my problem with the Rebbe. If it goes according to Rebbe, and then Safan means this area, and this area. So why does the Kohen Gadol have to stand over here between the steps somewhere? It's very shver of it. Let him stand over here. Nice. Nobody's in the Azara, so it's great. Let him stand over here. So the answer is Elomai, Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimon. So it's better for you to say that it's not Rebbe, it's Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimon. What does Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimon say? It includes this area. So I have the same exact kasha. According to Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimon, that says this is the box. So why does he have to stand over here by the yellow over here? Let him stand over here. Why are you so makbid between bein ha'ulam and the mizbeach? So what's the answer to that? Because the Kohen Gadol has to do shchita and what? And he has to do Kabbalah. He has to receive the blood in a giant pail. And it's a lot of blood. We're not talking about the blood of a sheep. We're talking about the blood of a cow. And he should try to chop as much blood as he can. The damatamtzis, the damachayim. It's heavy stuff. Talking about Yom Kippur. He's busy running back, forth, schwitzing away. Gonna make him schlep a pail of blood from down here, go all the way up here into the heichal and do all his avodah sprinkle. It's better if he does it right here by the stairs. That's the pshat. We're trying to save him a few feet. So Meila, if you're going to answer that on Rabbi Shimon, you can answer that on Rebbe. You asked me a question. How come, according to Rebbe, if all this area is available to him, why does he do it over here? Answer is, it's too far away. Same way I answered, how come, according to Rabbi Shimon, he doesn't do it in this square? Yes, I might have said it a little off. He should have done it right here. Over here is too far to walk. That's why he does it here. So according to Rebbe, it's too far to walk from here. Meila could go according to Rebbe, could go according to Rabbi Shimon. To who? What's the difference? Right now he's not here. There's no. Oh, you're saying I should repeat everything I said last night? I should repeat now for a video? You're listening. No, that part you listen. The jokes you listen to. Yeah, I know. Look, now you're listening beautifully. Yeah, where's your Gemara? Open up Gemara. So, as we explained before, the animal is facing south, but his head is facing west. Is that possible? So once again, he's facing south, but his head is facing west because he turned his head a shtickle. But what's the problem? Why can't you just have an animal facing this way? Have him face the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Why does it have to be this way? Answer is, says the Gemara, maybe he'll go to the bathroom over there, but when he goes to the bathroom, Rashi says his tail comes up. He doesn't say that, but he exposes his erva to the mizbeach. It's not so much the glolim that the problem is his erva. And the Refuah says it actually never happened. It was never an issue. Or ein simchim al hanes, and Meila, we have to face him in that direction. Tana Rabbanan. How does smicha work in general? Any carbon that comes to the Beis Hamikdash. You take the animal, you put it in the northern part of the Hazara, but the head is facing the Kodesh HaKadoshim. We actually have another picture of just a head yoid. Just a regular Yisrael not even wearing big dikun, he's wearing blue jeans, and he's doing smicha. His head is facing Ma'irav. This is Ma'irav. He's standing. I don't know if this works well. Let's see. Okay. As long as there's no chatzitza, can't have anything. Can't have a towel. He can't wear gloves. His hands have to be directly on the animal. If this individual brought a chatas to the Beis Hamikdash, he should say zaveir of a chatas. Va'alosham avoin osham. And if he brought a osham, he should say the aveir of the osham. Va'aloila avoin leket shikha upeya divrei Rabbi Yosef Aglili. Rabbi Yosef Aglili says that this also includes alosham. You say this. Va'aloila. What does the oila come for? Oil comes for the avera of leket shikha upeya. In other words, if the kohen owned, or the person, the individual, owned a field and he didn't leave whatever he had to leave for the aniyim, the leket, the shikha, the peya, he must bring an oila, and he says the oila should be mechaper for that. Rabbi Kiva Omer, not true. A oila does not work for leket shikha upeya. Leket chikropeya is a lav. A lav, you get malchus for, whatever it is, oil is not going to work for you. Right? If a person doesn't have veira that's a lav, he gets malchus. He might be chayiv misa, kares. Oil doesn't work for that. Oil doesn't help you if a person didn't have veira. So what does an oil work for, says Rabbi Kiva? An oil boil al asay v'al lois asay shenitak la asay. If a person was over on an asay, a positive commandment, then he brings the oil. What's a good example? I just saw, it's mamish nogea l'maisa. It might be nogea l'maisa. The achronim are mesupik about it. If a person finds out that his tefillin were written by a missionary, mamish maisa shaya. He's going 20 years with puzzle tefillin. He's over an asay. Yes, it's not his fault. It's a shaygig, but it's over an asay b'shaygig. So for that, if it's true that in that certain circumstance you chayiv something, so the oil would work for that. That's an asay. Then they go into all the brachas that he said. Levatala. Is it a problem? Not a problem. Okay, it's a nidoy. Va'alois asay shenitak la'asay. What's a classic example of a lois asay? A lav that has, you can fix it. A person does it and then you can fix it. Gezel. Says the pasuk, there's a way out of it. You do gzela, you don't get malchus. The Ganav doesn't get malchus. Ganav just has to give it back. What? Nicer. But the classic, yeah, okay. Values as Jenida say. So So what's the machloik is whether or not leka chikro peya could be forgiven with an oil or not. Omar Rebbe Yirmiyah. Daf Amud Beis, sponsored l'schos for Shidduch for Esther Devora bas Leah Gittel and Devori bas Suri and Eli Nishmas. Yeah, we're good. Eli Nishmas the Meron victims and Refuah Shlema for the Meron victims and the mishpachas should have an achama. And you should know that the MDY Chabura is truly one big family. In case you weren't sure. Says the Gemara. Belav the nevela kamifligi, the machloikis is something similar to this. Not dafka this, but something similar to this. What's going on here by nevela? Look at this, beautiful. This is like a chikropeya. Call it nevela for a second. There's a lav, lo yisoichlu kol nevela. That's a lav. Then the pasuk continues and says, "Lager shebesharecha tetnena v'achola." So red is stop, don't go. Green means a positive, go. So, is there a connection between the green and the red? No. It can't fix. You can't fix nevela. If you eat nevela, what are you going to do? Take it out of your stomach and give it to a ger? It's too late. Once you ate it, you ate it. There's no fixing. So memela, the green has nothing to do with the red. There's two separate things in the pasuk. Happens to be the pasuk says, don't do this and do this. They're not connected. It's not a lav hanitik lasei. It's a lav and the story, period. And there's an assay. Oh. Here's a big machlokes though. Do you get malchus for eating nevela? Why not? It's a lav. But it's not similar to the classic lav of Leisachsim Shor B'disha. Leisachsim Shor B'disha tells me I can't muzzle my animal when I plow my field. But that's it. That's all it says. Leisachsim Shor B'disha. And if I do, I get malchus. It doesn't say what I should do. It doesn't say take off a muzzle. Don't take off a muzzle. There's no green in the pasuk. So Mela, if there's a lav, and then there's something else added to it, a positive afterwards, maybe it's not included. That's what Rabbi Yosef says. No. This is a proper lav that gets malchus. It's like any other lav in the Torah. And an oila, of course, is not mechaper. Rabbi Yosef Savar, lav ma'al. Not true. It's not a lav. You like it. Double ocean. Yeah, yesterday it threw me for a spin for a second. Lav lav malyu. It's not a real lav. Ememela what? So going back to our sugya, says Rabbi Saglili, look at this. Believe it or not, leket chikho peya. I'm only showing you one of them. But oferet karmacha loisa leket. Do not. And then says lo niv lager tazavoisam. It's not fixing it. It's just telling you there's another. So this is not similar to loisachsim shor b'dishoy. And Rabbi Kiva says it's a perfect lav. Here loy silakit. And Rabbi saying this is no. It's not similar to loisachsim. Mela, you don't get malchus. And if you don't get malchus, what? What's your kapara? An oila. Going back to the oila. That's why Rabbi says the oila is mechaper on leket, shikha, and peya. Says the Gemara, Abaye Omar de Kula Alma, Lav de Nevelo, Lav Mal Yahavi. No, even Yosef Lili agrees that it's a real lav. Voch bet Hazav coming fligi. The Rekiv is Savar. Here's the pasuk. The question is, maybe this is a lav anitik lasei. What happens if I was over? I was supposed to leave my grapes, and I didn't. I took them home. Now what? The pasuk says, maybe the pasuk is telling me that I could fix my problem. Instead of me being over and getting malchus, I could go take my grapes out of my fridge and give them to Dani. That's the machlokes here. No, the pasuk is just telling you what you should have done, not what you should do to correct the problem. There's no correction anymore. You're over and over, you get malchus. It's a lav anitik lasei. Today, after you're over on the lav, I can go and I can fix it. It's not a problem. Hold on. How did I lose my Dambi piece? That's the beauty of a gift. He gave me this, but I don't know how long ago. Every time I use it, I think of him. The cheesecake, you eat and bite the cake, you don't remember it. This every day. Gewaldig. Yom. That's why Soinim and Tanas Yichya. You make me think about you. It's nervine. Says the Gemara. Abaye Omar. We said that. Okay. Torah Rabbana. Keitzim Mitzvad. Okay. New sugya. Easy stuff. Fly right through it now. Keitzim Mitzvad. So, as it says in the Mishnah, obviously, I sinned b'mezid, poshati, I was moired, b'chatasi shogig. You see the same lashon in the Torah. V'svada olav is called avoinois. Avoin is mezid. B'nei Yisrael. It's called b'sheyem. That's the worst of the worst. You're doing it b'dafka to anger HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'chol chatoisam. Chet is shogig. Very familiar with this pasuk. First comes Avain, then comes Pesha, then comes the easiest one, B'shogi. Divi Rebbe Meir. So the single shita, the one person, Rebbe Meir, holds, it goes like our Mishnah, Avain Pesha Chatos. But the Rabbim say, Avainois, Elu has doinois. Yes, avoinois mean, let's explain it, then we'll ask the question that doesn't make sense what you're saying, Rebbe Meir. Avoinois means b'mezid. You should get kares because you had an avain. Obviously, an avain means mezid because no one will get the death penalty, will get a kares, which is terrible stuff, on a shaygig. So obviously, if this person is getting hikares tikares, he obviously did an avain, which means he did a mezid. What does pshayim mean? Pshayim is even worse. Elu hamiradim, to rebel against Hashem. V'cheinu oimer, there's people that say, "Oh, I'm doing it b'dafka. Just let's see if this is Hashem b'chlal. I'm doing it. He said not to. I am going to eat on Yom Kippur." V'cheinu oimer melech moyev poshabi. So when it comes to a war, the enemy is rebelling. He's not just doing b'mezid. He's doing it lahachas. He wants to get you. That's poshabi. V'oimer tivsha livno b'oisahi. What does a chet mean? It means he did it inadvertently. Okay. Sechta, Shgaga, goes together. So ask Chachamim, if he started off saying, Hashem, forgive me, for I've sinned, Biratzain, Bimezid, V'ala Miradim. Not only that, I was a koifer, I asked you Mechila, I was a bad guy. And he's going to say, oh, by mistake, I flipped the switch on Shabbos, I didn't realize it was Shabbos, I was so tired. It's not the right order. When you go to the king and you ask for forgiveness, you start slow. Forgive me? Yeah, okay. And by the way, I also did this. And by the way, I was really terrible. I did a pesha. You don't start from the top and go downwards. And this is what we do. Chatasi, va'avisi, upashati. Somebody pointed out that in the Siddur, by Avinu Malkeinu, it says like in the Mishnah. It says the chet at the end. And there's some people that say it's wrong. We should not say it like that. Okay. Chatasi, vavisi, upashati, lefanecha, ani uvesi. The real order is you say a shaygig first, and then a mazid, and what's last? Makes sense. Last is the worst of the worst, the rebellious one. And a great raya from David HaMelech, because he said chet, which is shaygig, havinu v'irshanu. First he starts off with the shaygig. Maradnu, you see merit all the way at the end. Chatanu, the shaygig all the way at the beginning. We have to understand Moshe Rabbeinu. Why did he say it differently? So Klai Yisrael was chayta b'mezid. They did it willingly, but they do tshuva. Aseilem is doinois kish gagois. Please, I'm begging you that you should consider their chet b'mezid as if they did it b'shaygeg, and memela you could be mevater them. We see a different yisoid. There's another concept of HaKadosh Baruch Hu could change chataim to zchuyos. When do we say that? When it's done me'ahava. When the tshuva is me'ahava, then he could switch it over to zchuyos. But when a person does tshuva me'yira, just out of fear, which is a lesser madrega, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu switches it into shoygig. Something that we could take out of this idea, is the idea of you're supposed to act like HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he knows that the person did it willingly. Person did a chet, he ate treif, he had a taiva. He did it willingly. And then he asks for forgiveness. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is moichel him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to be moichel, I'm going to treat it as if you did it by mistake. So Mela, us too. When your wife says she did it by mistake, really what you know, but then you say, well, but you didn't. I told you 1,000 times not to do it. No, it was a mistake. So you're supposed to act like a HaKadosh Baruch Hu in that situation and say, okay, yes, it was not by mistake, but I'm going to treat it as if it was by mistake. I'm moichel. No, usually with the husband it's out of yira. That's why I brought the mashal of a wife. No. If it's mahava, then it's great. Mahava, that's the word. Mahava means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could view it. You love me so much that it would have never even happened. Like, I'm going to turn into schusim. Whatever the word is over there. Okay. Omar Rabbo, Bar Shmuel Omar Rav. Says Rav, halach gedivri chachamim. That what? That you start with chatayim, with the shoygig, and you work your way up, mazid, and then you go to merit. Pshita, Yachv Rav, halach Rabbim. What's the chiddush? We always go with the rabbim. No. Mao the same mistabet hamid the Reb Meir. Over here, though, Reb Meir seems to be correct. The Kumasai lekra the Moshe. We have Moshe Rabbeinu. But what's so beautiful about Moshe Rabbeinu? Rashi points out. Okay, he's Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, let's have David HaMelech against Moshe Rabbeinu, so that's why Reb Meir wins. Because Moshe Rabbeinu is on Yom Kippur. He's talking about Yom Kippur. This is the video of Yom Kippur. Moshe Rabbeinu is saying it in that order. So shouldn't you also say it on Yom Kippur in that order? Kamash Malon, we don't paskin like Reb Meir, even though it makes so much sense. We go with Rabbanon. Says the Gemara story. The There was a chazan on Yom Kippur who davened for the Amud, and he said the zdainais, and then the pshayim, and then all the way at the end he did the shaygig, the chatos. Shalom Aleichem, Uncle Phil. Shh. Nobody say anything. Nobody look. Wow, and Reb Chaim Snow also. You know what? We have 1 minute left of this year. We're going to have to drag it out.
We're here for the cheesecake.
Gewaldig.
Mark told me he sent the cheesecake.
He did. It was Mark?
I didn't say that.
Now we know. It said New York, MDY Chevra. I was hoping there's more than one guy. What's wrong with you? Why are you going with the Rameir? I hold the Chazan. You hear this Chazan talking to Rabbah. I, the Chazan, I hold Rameir's right. Yes, you have on one hand, you have all the Rabbanan over here, and you have Rameir over here. I go like Rameir. It says in the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu said it like that. So you see from here also big Yisayt. I don't know what the Yisayt is exactly and how it works. But you see that if you are a Talmud Chacham and you believe in a certain way, you see also like the Chazanish sometimes argues on Rishonim. If you went through the sugya, you went through the thing, you decide, it's not that, oh, I'm going like Rameir. I paskin like Rameir. To the point that Rabbi doesn't even say a word back to him. He doesn't say, oh, Mechutzev, how do you go like Rameir? He's, okay, that's how you hold? Gewaldig, okay. Go with it. I want to know I thought you didn't know the halacha. No, you know the halacha, and you thought it's better, according to your own das, to go with Rameir? Then you're okay, go with Rameir. That's what it says here. Exactly when do you say this and when not, I don't know. There's two ways to get a kapara. Get a kapara with the blood of the animal, and that we saw throughout Kachim. The Zrikas Hadam and the Mizbeach is the Mechaper. It's called the Mechaper. That's how you achieve a kapara, atonement. And there's a kapara with vidui. A person dying, there's no blood. He says vidui. He says, I'm sorry. And that's a kapara. So what's going on here? Which one are we talking about? When the Kohen Gadol, he brings his bull, what exactly is the kapara? Says Gemara v'chiber b'kapara dvar ma'kosim medaber. The vidui is what causes the kapara. Who told you? Maybe it's the blood. Hareni don nemer kan kapara v'nemer la'alon kapara. So first of all, it says over here by his parachatos, it says v'keeper. So that's the word, v'keeper. Okay, I'm going to keep that over here. Then it says the Azazel. We're just going to talk about tomorrow in the Mishnah. You have the two goats. Here, two goats. Gewaldig. Now it's a goat. We use this as a cow, we use this as a sheep, now finally it's a goat. You have a goat, the two goats. One of them is a Azazel. It gets thrown off. Israeli's favorite word, no? Azazel, whatever. Okay, man. Azazel. One of them is thrown off a cliff. And one of them is brought into the Beis HaMikdash and they shecht. So the one that you throw off the cliff, it says, you do a goyrel, Azazel, Yoma Chai Lefnei Hashem, Lechaper Olav. There's a kapara. But you're throwing him off a cliff. There's no blood. It cannot be blood. There's no shchita, there's no blood. So what is it? The kapara is dvarim. There's a video, there's a psukim that he says, on the Saril Azazel, and poof, off the cliff he goes. But there's words. So just like over here, the word lechaper means words, not blood. So made over here also, the v'chiper by the par of the Kohen Gadol is also words and not the shechting, even though there is a shechting over here. Okay. Says the Gemara. But maybe you'll be able to answer and throw off this Gzeirah Shava that you have. So for that, and here's very, very important. The last part of the pasuk that the Gemara doesn't bring. V'shachat is parachatos, and it keeps on going, the pasuk. This word v'shachat is super important because it says over here that the kapara comes before the shchita. In other words, there's no blood at the time of the kapara. So what was there at the time of the kapara? The words that the kohen said. Here's your raya that the kapara comes through words and not blood, because the v'shachat comes way after the kapara. V'adayin lo nishchat hapar. How do I know that it wasn't shechted? Because the pasuk says it. But classic Gemara, the Gemara missed or figured, you know the end of the pasuk. I don't need to tell you the pasuk. What is it that you could have thrown me off my beautiful Gzeir Shava of lechaper, these two words, and for that you need the actual another drasha that says v'shachat afterwards. Oh, don't forget that there's another goat number 2. Oops, bye. That Azazel. Yeah, bye. Okay, he's actually goat number 1. He's upset. Okay, so goat number 1, we said there's no blood, there's no shechita. You throw him off a cliff. Well, goat number 2 does have a shechita. And guess what? In pasuk Tesvav it says v'shachat. There's a shechita. And in pasuk Tezayin it says v'chiper. So the kapara is through the blood. So maybe let's go back now. I'm going to take parachatos, the word v'chiper over here. And the word v'chiper over here means blood, not words. Who told you that by parachatos of a kohen gadol, it's the words, it's the vidui? That's why you're right. If you're going to knock off my Gzeir Shava, so for that I have another pshat. I don't need the Gzeir Shava. In the pasuk itself, it says v'chiper v'shachat, that the kapara came before the shechita, and memela, at the end of the day, the kapara comes through vidui. Oh, I have to say this. A gute zimmer, a good summer. Tonight is the night that you're supposed to say it. Almost forgot it. Unbelievable. All right, a gute Voch. We'll see you, Be'ezer Hashem. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful summer. We have to know what it means. We have to know, what does v'chiper mean? It's negetas. I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, there's a kapara. What did you show me?
No, I want to ask. This pasuk is on
the second.
Hashem,
Yeah.
Hashem.
The one that we.
I'm just noticing.
V'shachat damai. I forgot to point that also. It says the blood. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm just. And I realize, there's no video on that goat.
On this goat, not, but on that goat, yes, yeah. Absolutely.
How can we even make any? Why can't we say that the actual kapara comes from the mice?
Oh, that's what I was also thinking. Yeah, the actual throwing.
I didn't learn anything from it. It's such an unusual.
It's the mice of throwing it off. That's the kapara. Throwing it off. I don't know. It bothered me also.